Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Andrew Muscovy. Hope you guys are doing well. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe as well. I'm back after a week off, a lovely few days in the Lake District. Had a lovely time. Thank you very much if you guys are wondering. Hope you enjoyed the content and all the episodes that came your way in my absence. I know a few of you shared a bit of a laugh at the view from the opposition because not only did you have one Cockney on it, you had two Cockneys on it. Thank you very much to Ned for stepping in and hosting, and thank you to Tom Rennie, as always, for providing a very entertaining and insightful view into the Hammers, of course, Newcastle United's opponents tonight in the capital, and what a huge game it is for the Magpies in terms of their qualification for the Champions League for next season. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a little look at the Carabao Cup Final on Sunday, and also the week that was for Newcastle United, because it seems like there's been so much news and it's left a bit of a dark cloud over St James's Park. I went away and it feels like everything fell apart. Maybe I was the glue holding it all together for Newcastle United. I am joking. I'm just trying to bring a bit of humour. Don't write in and complain. Before we kick on with the show, just a very, very special thanks to websites and print.com in South Shields. You can find them at Westow Road. They've just dropped off our Wembley flag. This will be coming down with me to the capital. I'm heading down on Friday, be doing a bit of filming, a bit of content across the weekend. So if you see me in Covent Garden or indeed on Wembley Way, come and say hello, because if you don't, I'll come and find you guys and stick this mic in your face and get a bit of content, a bit of opinion on your feeling for the final. But here you go. Here is the flag. It's a bit difficult to unveil with just one hand. I'll do my best. But as you can see, it's got our logo on, and at the bottom, Carabao Cup Final 2025. So thank you very much to websites and print.com in South Shields. Do pay them a visit. I will fold this up after the video has been recorded. And thank you to NordVPN as well for sponsoring the podcast. Hit the link in the podcast description box for a very exclusive offer on your NordVPN plan. Right, let's get into the show, because as I said there, it feels a bit doom and gloom around Newcastle United right now, which is a bit of a shame. Doesn't feel like the right build-up for a cup final. It feels a bit negative. It feels a bit meh, doesn't it? Largely thanks to the news, I think, that Lewis Hall will be missing from the final, as will Sven Botman. I mean, you not just dealt one blow, you dealt two there. And when I heard the news about Lewis Hall, my goodness me, felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I was absolutely devastated by that news, because he's been Newcastle's best player this season. He's been absolutely superb. What a journey he's been on. Started really slowly on Tyneside, but he's just risen into one of Newcastle's most important players, England left back. He's been absolutely fantastic this campaign. And if one man was going to stop Mo Salah, it was going to be Lewis Hall. Like, I'm still good now just even saying the words he's missing the final. But then you dealt the extra blow that he's going to miss the rest of the season as well. And I think when you reflect back on it, when you hear someone's going to see a specialist 2 weeks before a final, you can kind of assume he's probably going to miss the final. But then when you read he's going to miss the entirety of the season, or what's left of it, oh man, like, good, absolutely good. There's no words to describe how that feels, really, is there? Yeah, just absolutely devastated at that news. But fingers crossed he can have the operation he needs, he can get all the medical work that he has to have, and then come back and he's ready for next season. And then also Sven Botman. Look, I think the hope that Botman was going to be ready for the final, it was there, but I don't think it's a massive surprise he's missing, to be honest with you guys. You know, his season has been really hit by injury. We got a taste for how good he is in the two-legged final over Arsenal. I think without him, Newcastle don't win those games, if I'm being quite honest with you. I thought he was absolutely superb. He really fitted in at that five across the back, and that was why I was confident playing five at the back against Liverpool on Sunday would work. If you had Botman, I would still go five at the back as it is. I have to play Emil Kraft. I don't think it'll work as well. Kraft, a very, very capable player, but nowhere near the level of Sven Botman. So to have the news he's not going to be available for the final, but then to have the news as well he's going to be out for probably the rest of the season. Look, Eddie Howe said May, but there'll be questions about how much fit he'll be when he's available to be picked, and questions of whether you actually just wrap him up in cotton wool, you set him away on his recuperation plan, and you save him for the next campaign. Will that be a better option for Sven Botman? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the one the club go for. And I think it's more than just about the final, isn't it? It's more than just losing Lewis Hall and Sven Botman for the final. It's about losing them for the season, really, because Newcastle United have got a chance of Champions League qualification. For as much as they've been inconsistent, somehow they've still got a chance of qualifying for the Champions League, but they're going to have to do it without two first choice defenders. So if everyone is fit and everyone is fit to be picked and is available, Sven Botman and Lewis Hall are the first two defenders on the team sheet. And Newcastle United, they're going to qualify for the Champions League, are going to have to do it without them. It is a huge blow, massive, massive blow, but they'll have to get on with it. This is the hand they've been dealt with. It's an opportunity for some players to step up. Tino Livramento will probably be the first choice left back now, but you do have Matt Targett, who will have a chance to compete with him. Kieran Trippier will have a chance to make that right back slot his own. Maybe Emil Kraft could push him as well. Emil Kraft will also more than likely have a chance to play at centre back at some point, because Newcastle United haven't got many options across the back now due to these injuries. But Eddie Howe is a manager who just gets on with it. You'll not hear him moaning, you'll not hear him complaining. He'll just get his head down and try and find the very best approach to it. But it is a huge blow. It really, really is. And we wish both players a speedy, speedy recovery. The other news that came out over the last week was the accounts, and Newcastle United made an £11 million pre-tax loss. So a loss, but significantly down on the year before. So massive steps were made in terms of the financials at Newcastle United. Record club revenue for the last year, £320 million, up £70 million on the year before, largely thanks to the Champions League. So if you were ever in doubt about the importance of the Champions League, then there they are. There is the importance laid down in black and white in terms of the financials and the numbers that came out last week. Newcastle United need Champions League football to continue growing the revenue at this rate. I think you applaud what work has been done so far. As I say, massive strides being made. It's clear that there's light there. As much as the last week has felt like kick after kick, the accounts were very positive. The accounts brought light into what has been a bit of a gloomy week for Newcastle United, and hopefully that can continue, but it needs Champions League football to do so. And that leads us on to the game against West Ham. It is a must-win in terms of qualification for the Champions League. That is my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think. But for me, it is a must-win for Newcastle United if they want to qualify for the Champions League. You've got Chelsea, who won over the weekend, beating Leicester. They're sitting in 4th on 49. Then you've got Manchester City sitting in 5th on 47. Brighton are next. Newcastle are all the way down in 9th. So you've got Villa ahead of them. You've got Fulham just behind them as well on 42 points. So not only do they need to win to keep up with those ahead of them, they also need to win because they're looking over the shoulder at Fulham, who are just a couple of points behind them. Now Newcastle United, they beat West Ham, they will go level on points with City, but they've got a better goal difference, so they will remain 6th and outside of those Champions League spots. It is a must win. It really, really is. I tell you what, it's amazing, I think, that it's so tight there, because you are having teams who are going on, runs of 2-3 wins, or a win and then a draw, and no one seems to be able to put a proper run of wins together. And whoever manages to do that will get Champions League football. City beat Newcastle United with ease, then haven't done much. Chelsea have been a bad run of form of late. They just got past Leicester. Villa have been a bit up and down. Some criticism of Emery of late, but he's got a couple of results together. Brighton are probably the team most in form. And then obviously Fulham just behind, who got beat by Brighton incidentally over the weekend. If Newcastle United can just pick up 2 or 3, 4 wins and start that momentum running, then they will get Champions League football. The issue is they've got the small matter of the Carabao Cup Final on Sunday, and you do fear that a bad performance, a bad result in that game could just derail what is left of their season. You have to hope, first and foremost, that they put in a good performance and they get the win. That's what we want, of course. And look, I have been confident since the semi-final draw was made that Newcastle United were going to end their trophy drought, and I still feel confident. I will admit, though, I'm at my lowest point in terms of the confidence that I had. The loss of Hall, the loss of Botman, the performances of late, getting dumped out of the FA Cup. I'm feeling a little bit down the dumps about it. I still think there's a really good chance for Newcastle United to beat Liverpool and lift the first domestic trophy since 1955. And actually, maybe all this negativity and this doom and gloom, which could get a lot worse if they lose tonight against West Ham, but maybe it suits them. I think going in against Manchester United a couple of years back, I think there was a strong feeling that they were the better side in some ways and should beat Manchester United here. The majority of people are expecting Liverpool to run wild and to win this one, but they've shown they're vulnerable. Southampton took the lead against them at the weekend. Wolves had a good go at them, and okay, Newcastle United at Anfield, for me, they didn't show the best side of them. I thought they should have done a little bit more, but Newcastle United in the final can win it. It's just about everything falling into place for them, and you need your luck, you do, but I do think maybe that underdog mentality might just suit them in the final. And it's going to be really interesting to see the team tonight against West Ham, because of course without Anthony Gordon you have that left wing up for grabs. Plenty of discussion about whether he goes 5 at the back against Liverpool in the final, and for me that's what I would do. I'd bring in Emil Kraft alongside Sharon Byrne, Livramento on the left, and Kieran Trippier on the right. I think that's the best way of nullifying the threat. Of course, Liverpool have got threats all over the place, but I think that's the best way to go about it. I put that out on social media over the weekend and got a bit of stick. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I know a lot of people say, well, just go 4-3-2-1 and go for it. They're vulnerable. The thing is, though, you've got to be very potent in attack. Of course, Newcastle have Alexander Isak, so there's always a chance. But if you go flying forward and it doesn't come off, and Liverpool hit you on the counter, they will just overrun your midfield. And for me, I'm not naturally someone who would choose sitting back and absorbing, but I think it worked so well against Arsenal. That has to be the way forward for me. The interesting question is, does he play that tonight against West Ham so the players can get a bit of feel for it? Now, of course, you're showing your hand there, but are you better preparing yourself for the final and for that kind of new formation by playing it tonight because it's done in a competitive nature, or do you not and you stick with 4-3-2-1 and then go in cold against Liverpool with a new formation? For what it's worth, I think Eddie Howe probably will pick 4-3-2-1 this evening, and then I think there's a chance he might go 5 at the back against Liverpool in the final. But who knows with Eddie Howe? He's not a man that you can easily predict. But if it is 4 at the back this evening, I think the team pretty much picks itself. He has to pick his strongest team. He has said he will do. I know, again, a lot of people are saying, well, should we not wrap Alexander Isak up in cotton wool? Should we not wrap the other star players up in cotton wool? And I think if Newcastle United were in mid-table, or they had the fourth position in the league and they had a good 10-point gap on fifth or sixth, then fair enough. But the results of the weekend mean they cannot afford to lose tonight. So many teams around them. They need to win tonight. And to do that, you need to play your best players. And look, a win tonight gets that momentum for Sunday as well. And the best chance of beating Liverpool on Sunday is by going into that game with a good result and performance against West Ham tonight. And I think he will play his strongest side. Hopefully there can be 2-3 goals up at half time, and you can take off your Bruno, you can take off your Tonali and your Isak and rest them ahead of Sunday. But I don't think there's any doubt Eddie Howe will play his strongest side possible tonight, because he knows how important a win is in terms of Champions League qualification for next season, as well as going into the final against Liverpool on Sunday with a bit of positivity and a bit of bounce. The last thing to mention, season ticket renewals. I know it's created a bit of stir on social media and it's added to the gloom and doom. Could the club maybe have waited till after the final, is the question some are asking. Look, they're never going to be able to please everybody. Darren Eales said it was a decision we made reluctantly. 5% increase on your season ticket prices. If you've got one, junior prices will remain frozen, but he said it was unavoidable that the prices would rise. He added, we continue to fare very favourably against other clubs in domestic and European competitions, and in comparison to other elite sports and entertainment events, the Fan Advisory Board have said they reject the increase. Interestingly, Darren Eales was asked about why Newcastle United fans should be happy paying an increase in season ticket prices when there has been perceived staleness in terms of incomings and additions to the squad. And he came back and said, well, it's been a good season. And he made references to it being night and day and chalk and cheese to what went pre-takeover. So let me know in the comments, are you lucky enough to have a season ticket? And what do you make of the price increase, 5%? It's hard for me to really share a fair opinion as someone who's not fortunate enough to have a season ticket. I can understand both sides of the argument. A lot of Premier League clubs have frozen their prices, which again has made Newcastle United's decision to increase the prices. It's not made that decision look fair in the eyes of some, but the club probably would argue, well, actually, to make to continue the club to be competitive, then these price increases were necessary. Let me know in the comments what you are thinking. Are you going to renew? Are you going to walk away? One thing that is for certain, we've seen on social media a proper division, and it's been really volatile. It's not been nice to see, and it's added to that doom and gloom and that negative build-up ahead of the final. I know fans arguing amongst themselves, and I hate this. I really do hate this. I'm a better fan than you. Blah 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 blah. We all want the best for Newcastle United. We are all Newcastle United fans. We all want success. And if you're lucky enough to have a season ticket, great. If you're thinking about maybe giving it up because you can't afford it, that's really unfortunate, and my heart goes out to you. But what we're seeing on social media is this real divide of nasty comments. Oh, if you don't want to pay, I'll take your ticket. Okay, that's their opinion; they're entitled to. But we're Newcastle United. Let's try and get along with each other. Disagree with opinions, but it's just been a real cesspit, I think is the right word in recent days on social media when it comes to Newcastle United, which is maybe it's down to a little bit of nerves for Sunday. Maybe it's kind of shouting into the void. Maybe it's a bit of a relief of stress and disappointment and anger at some of the news that's come out. I don't know. But it would be nice if we could all get along. I know that's never going to happen because it's football and everyone's got their opinions and people react differently. But yeah, not being good, I don't think at all. And I'm just hoping that tonight Newcastle United can get a good result against West Ham, put in a good performance, and it brings a bit of positivity. Because imagine that if Newcastle United pick up 3 points tonight and put in a good performance, and we can go into the next few days with a bit of joy, with a bit of optimism, positivity, with a bounce in our step. Because if they lose, goodness me, it's not going to be a good few days, is it? But fingers crossed they pick up all 3 points. And look, usually I'm very, very confident with a prediction, whether it's win, draw, or defeat. I'm not sure how this one goes, if I'm being honest. Graham Potter making small strides in terms of improving West Ham. They've got some dangerous players. Kudus, Bowen, got some really good players. They do lack that kind of goal scorer up front. The strikers, Antonio, of course, injured, and I think it's the chap who signed from the Bundesliga hasn't really found his form. He's had a lot of time out. I don't know if he's actually injured for tonight's game, but they haven't really got that goal scorer aside from Bowen, who's more on the right. So Newcastle United should go in feeling a little bit confident, I think, and seeing as an opportunity to send everyone down to Wembley in a good mood. Whether they can do that, I don't know. Their performances, their results of late haven't been brilliant. But if they're going to qualify for the Champions League, it is a game they need to win. I'm going to push myself to give a score prediction. It's not one that I recommend you go and put a pound on. I'm going to say a draw. I think they need to win it, but I'm going to say a draw. 1-1 for me is what I'm going to go for. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Let me know in the comments on anything else that we've spoken about. Season ticket renewals, the accounts, the Carabao Cup Final, the injury news. Goodness me. I tell you what, leave me a positive as well. Leave me one positive that you're feeling about Newcastle United. Let's cheer everybody up. Please do that. Please also hit thumbs up, hit subscribe. I've been Andrew Musgrove. This has been Everything is Black and White podcast. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys very soon.